Hello everyone. So today I'm going to discuss with you all a very important question from SHM Class 11th Physics. The question is often asked as, let's say you have a pendulum which oscillates from amplitude from one side amplitude to the other side. So this is only for one side I have taken. So the question is often asked in this manner. Let's say the pendulum travels to half of the amplitude on one side in t1 seconds. It is already provided, t1, not the value. The variable is given, and then from a by 2 to a, that is half, to the extreme right, you can say, it travels in t2. So you have to find the value of the ratio of t1 by t2. Now there are some approaches that you might find to solve this problem. The approach that I find the easiest, I would be sharing with you all. So we all know that t1 plus t2, since we know t1 plus t2 is nothing but t by 4. Now if you ask how that comes, you can simply consider, let's say we have a pendulum and it will first oscillate. Let's say this is the mean position and it will oscillate first to the right, that is A, at position A, which is nothing but amplitude, and then it returns from A to the mean position. Again from mean position it goes to the amplitude on the extreme left, and then from the extreme left it will again return to the mean position. So the displacement, if you see, is 0 because it ultimately comes back to the same position, but the distance, if you see, is nothing but 4a. Because firstly, please do not mind the writing, it's pretty difficult to write using a cursor like that. So first it will move from the mean position to amplitude, then again amplitude to mean position. The time is same for traveling, for the pendulum to travel from mean position to amplitude and again return from amplitude to the mean position is same. Let's say t for going from mean position to amplitude. So to return from A to mean position will also be t. Similarly, it moves from the mean position to the amplitude on the left and then amplitude to mean position with the same time, which is t. So the distance, if you see, is nothing but 4a. So for moving from mean position to amplitude, it takes time t seconds. So it covers the same distance 4 times. That means the total time interval will be 4t, right? Now, if you consider this total time to be, let's say, t by 4, t. Let's say I am not considering 4t as the total time it takes. I am considering it to be t. So that means every interval from mean position to amplitude has taken t by 4 time, right? I am not intending to confuse you. What I am simply asking you to consider is that if you consider the time the pendulum takes to reach the amplitude from mean position as t, then the total distance covered is 4a. So total time will be 4t. If you consider the total time to be t instead of 4t, that means for each of these intervals, like mean position to amplitude, has taken t by 4. I hope that was clear. T by 4. T by 4. Now, you have to find the ratio of t1 by t2. We already know the wave equation is a sine omega t. Now just consider this range from the mean position to a by 2, okay, is what I will ask you to consider at first. So for this small range from the mean position to a by 2, the distance that it covers is a by 2. So we are considering x as a by 2, the distance. So a by 2 is, let's make it capital A by 2, is equal to a sine omega t. Now, it should be clear to you that omega t, the t that we are intending to find out here, is actually the value of t1 because the distance that we have taken is from main position to a by 2. So a by 2 is equal to a sine omega t, which gives you, a gets cancelled, of course. So that means sine omega t gives you nothing but half, correct? So sine omega t gives you half. That means omega t is nothing but pi by 6, all right, because we know pi by 6, sine pi by 6, which is sine 30, is half. Omega t you could have written as 2 pi by t into t, which is equal to pi by 6. And if you calculate this, 2 pi by t into t, 2 pi by t into t, this is to be mentioned because you might cancel both of these. 2 pi by t is the value of omega, where t is nothing but time period, capital T. And this is t1, which is the time period or the time taken by the pendulum to cover the distance from mean position to half of the amplitude, which is pi by 6. So 2 pi by t into t1 is equal to pi by 6. So from here, if you do the calculations, pi will get cancelled and you will be left with t1, which will be capital T, which is time period by 12 seconds. So you had already calculated that T1 plus T2 would be T by 4. So if you put this value of T1 over there, you will get the value of T2, which is coming out to be T by 6, capital T by 6. So now I hope you can find out T1 by T2. The ratio comes out to be T by 12 divided by T by 6. So that means 6 by 12, which comes out to be half. Thank you so much.